The group of 7 leaders from Britain, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan and the US, along with the European Union, gathered in the resort area of Kananaskis in the Canadian Rockies for the G7 summit. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney welcomed world leaders as they began talks with escalating conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East hogging the agenda. In the opening remarks, Canadian Prime Minister Carney underlined the importance of cooperation to enhance resilience and economic progress.
Nostalgia isn't a strategy. We have to change with the times and to build a better world. And some of you, such as you, Mr. President, have anticipated these massive changes and are taking bold measures to address them. All of us around this table are reinforcing our militaries and security services for the new world. But we all know that there can be no security without economic prosperity and no prosperity without resilience. And in a world where shocks flow across the borders, that resilience comes from cooperation that starts around this table.
The Group of 7 summit began in Canada on Monday. The world leaders were scrambled to contain the escalating conflict between Israel and Iran over Tehran's nuclear program. US President Donald Trump said that Iran should talk about de-escalating before it is too late.
They'd like to talk, but they should have done that before. I had 60 days and they had 60 days, and on the 61st day I said, we don't have a deal. They have to make a deal, and it's painful for both parties, but I'd say Iran is not winning this war, and they should talk, and they should talk immediately before it's too late.
While attending the G7 summit in Canada, President Donald Trump slammed Barack Obama and Justin Trudeau administration for removing Russia from the G8 member nations, calling it a big mistake.
G7 used to be the G8. Barack Obama and a person named Trudeau didn't want to have Russia in. And I would say that that was a mistake, because I think you wouldn't have a war right now if you had Russia in. And you wouldn't have a war right now if Trump were president 4 years ago. But it didn't work out that way. But it used to be the G8, and now it's, I guess, what's that, 8 years ago, it switched over. They threw Russia out, which I claimed was a very big mistake. Even though I wasn't in politics then, I was very loud about it. It was a mistake in that you spend so much time talking about Russia, and he's no longer at the table, so it makes life more complicated. But you wouldn't have had the war.
US President Donald Trump also expressed optimism about settling trade disputes with Canada during the meeting with Prime Minister Mark Carney.
I think we're going to accomplish a lot, and I expect to, and I think our primary focus will be trade and trade with Canada. It's not so much holding up. I think we have different concepts. I have a tariff concept, and Mark has a different concept, which is something that some people like. But we're going to see if we can get to the bottom of it today. I'm a tariff person. I've always been a tariff. It's simple, it's easy, it's precise, and it just goes very quickly. And I think Mark has a more complex idea, but also very good. So we're going to look at both, and we're going to see what we're going to come out with something, hopefully.
US President Donald Trump and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced the finalization of a trade deal between the two countries at the G7 summit in Canada. Trump called the UK-US relationship just fantastic and confirmed that the agreement was signed. Starmer said that the deal covers auto tariffs and aerospace, though specific details were not disclosed.
We just signed it, and it's done. And so we have our trade agreement with the European Union. And it's a fair deal for both. Going to produce a lot of jobs, a lot of income, and we have many other ones coming. But you see the level of enthusiasm is very good.